Hmm. I really like the Panther. Maybe I should make a YouTube video about it. I mean, honestly, how hard could it be to get a decent game in the Panther these days in War Thunder? Hey everybody, Sergeant Mushroom 92 here again. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Panther, specifically more the Panther F, which is a tank that I have just recently unlocked and have been playing quite a bit on War Thunder. Now, firstly though, I want to start off by saying a huge thank you to all my followers on Twitch, all the new ones and the old ones. Thanks to all the new followers I've got in just this past week, I've already hit my goal for followers this month, so that is fantastic, and that's with over 2 weeks left in the month, so that is great. And if we keep getting followers at this rate, we're definitely going to hit 50 by the end of the year, so I'm really looking forward to that, and that's really keeping me motivated. With that in mind though, I do like to say, or I would like to say rather, if you do enjoy this video, please just give it a wee subscribe, a wee like, comment, whatever. It means more to me than you'd ever know. I do this just for fun. It's not like I'm out to make money or anything like that, but it's nice if people actually watch the videos and stuff as well. And it's always nice to see a new subscriber, a new comment, a new like, you know, stuff like that. It's a good feeling. So anyway, the Panther F. So, well, today's video is going to focus more on not just Panther F, but also like the Panther A, because that is what I've taken out. There are a few different models of Panther in the tech tree. There's the Panther D at 5.7, Panther A and G, Panther F, and Panther 2. As I say, Panther A and F is what we're going to be focusing on. Now, what's the main difference between them? Primarily, it's the turret and gun, and mobility, I would argue. You can see that the Panther A has a quite distinctly different turret from the Panther F. And the main thing for that is armor. The Panther F is better armored, and it has a slightly bigger gun. That doesn't affect penetration, it is just a shell velocity thing. But you can see it's 120mm on the front turret, whereas it's 100 on the Panther A, sorry. But this also acts as a shot trap, as you can see. A shell could come in here and dip down into the tank like that. They did correct that with the Panther G, but we're not looking at that. So anyway, Panther has to be my favourite tank of World War II. It just looks fantastic. Those sleek angled lines, the turret, the gun, like just everything about it is fantastic in my opinion. Well, not everything. I'm not completely blinded by my rose-tinted glasses. There are some glaring deficiencies, might be the right word for that, with this vehicle, or this line of vehicles. Firstly is the reverse speed. This thing will only reverse at 4 km/h, which is absolutely awful, and it quite often means that once you go around a corner, you are committed. You can't back out of it. Secondly is just the general mobility. I don't have everything upgraded on this, but I do on the Panther A, and it's a bit better, but it's still lacking, and that's a bit of a trend with German vehicles. They tend to not be able to turn very quickly or get up to speed very well. Well, at least it's a trait of the World War II German vehicles. The gun, however, is fantastic. 185 millimeters of standard penetration at 100 meters, and that obviously goes up on this vehicle with APCR to 226, and on the Panther F, but I don't have APCR unlocked yet. The big thing with this is it's actually better than the Tiger. As you can see, the armor penetration on the Tiger is 162, so a bigger gun is not always better, kids, and that is what she said. But the Tiger, right enough, being an 88mm shell, does have more explosive mass, so that's worth bearing in mind too. Anyway, let's get onto this replay, and it's not a fantastic and outrageously fantastic replay with 12 kills like my Tiger gameplay there, but it's one of the better ones I've had in the Panther recently. And as you could tell by the my little intro there, I've been having a bit of trouble trying to play these vehicles, but we'll get onto that in the replay. Okay guys, how's it going? So, as I mentioned, we're taking the Panther F out on one of the original maps from the War Thunder Ground Forces. This map does hold a certain amount of nostalgia. It's terrible as far as map design goes. You can pretty much have if you wanted to, have a big sniping fight between the bases. Especially as if you look at the mini-map down in these bases here. That's why generally most people don't spawn there. There's just not really much point. Back in the day, you used to spawn here, you'd come around here, and you just fight across this little gully here. And you just die a lot. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But anyway, I've found, personally, for my sort of playstyle, that this position up ahead here, in this little ridge here, is a pretty good one. You get basically a decent line of sight to all the tanks that are coming from B towards the A area. Now, as you can see, there are a bunch of T-34-85s here. If I remember correctly, this is a 6.0 game, so I'm quite lucky with the matchmaking on that. And this thing just lives to kick T-34-85s in the face. I mean, I guess that's what it was designed to do, really, so that's what it excels at. Now, the gameplay's a little slow at the start. You can see there the mobility hampering me a little bit. I do still have stock engine and everything like that on this vehicle, so that's partially to blame. But even on the Panther A, which I do have aced, it's still so-so. And this vehicle, I predict, will be a little bit worse because it's thicker armor. It'll be a bit heavier. I spot my first T-34-85 there. I do fluff the shot spectacularly. There's a big skatey IS-2 behind me, but he's down in the dip there, so I don't need to worry about him too much. Now I take another shot at this T-34-85. Obviously there's no tags above enemy tanks in the actual game, so I didn't realize he had pulled forward. I'm checking the ridge there. I do completely miss that KV-85. And there's my first kill, what I think is a very lucky shot on a moving T-34-85. I would not have gotten that kill if he had reduced his ammo loadout. Second kill, another T-34-85 right in the turret, which was nice. And there's a third, completely oblivious T-34-85. So 3 kills in really quick succession. That's what this tank is pretty good for. It's got a nice high penetration gun of a decent caliber. And decent explosive mass. So you can get quite a lot of crews knocked out. Especially on a T-34-85, which is a really small interior tank. The crew are really close together, so you can pretty easily take those out. And they don't really have that much armor to speak of. So I'm checking about to see if there's any more T-34-85s lingering about. And there's not, so I'm pretty sure in just a moment I'm gonna push round, if I remember right. Been a few days since I've watched this replay. So I'm being wary, I'm keeping an eye on the ridge there. Ah yes, that's right, I noticed that the Tiger that's behind me did get killed by an IS-1.
So I'm now very conscious of being flanked from the rear. So what I actually go to do is I try to turn this fat butt around and make my way around there to try and intercept any sort of flank, because I believe that that's not what they're expecting. Now you can just really see from this that the mobility is not great. Even on this relatively flat terrain, I'm only getting up to about 30 kilometers an hour. And granted, it is a softer terrain, it's still pretty poor. Now there's apparently a heavy tank inside that hill there. It's must be a nice little replay bug. And I carefully push across this ridge here. See if I can't spot the tank that killed our Tiger E. And I don't. So I was quite wrong with that. I figured that he would push around and try to take advantage of the element of surprise, basically, but he doesn't. Now I try to get myself turned around. Again, you can see the failing mobility there. And like I say, that's a bit of a trend with German vehicles, or the World War II German vehicles at least. Now there's that IS-1 there. Now, I didn't see him at the time, obviously. I did see this ISU-152, however. Now, I wasn't quite quick enough there. Gun depression let me down a little bit. Still a respectable amount of gun depression, 8 degrees for the gun depression in this vehicle. It's not too bad at all. But yes, I decided to leave that flank alone because there is a Jagdpanzer 4 heading down there, so I trust him to keep a hold of it. And the enemy spawn is right there, and that's why I'm keeping a beady eye over there. I don't want to be killed from that flank there. And I push up this little hill. Completely missed that Su-85. It's always quite funny. He's dead anyway. I see him now. It's always quite funny when you look back at a replay and you realize, Jesus, how did I miss that tank? He was so obvious in the open. But it's just one of those things that happens, I guess. Sometimes you can't see everything. I do see this KV-2 though. And he is taking fire. And I don't really know how he didn't die sooner, because he is well in the open.
So now I try to push around on that KV-2. See if I can't secure the kill on him. Although at the time I didn't think I would, because he is taking some serious fire from the Jagdpanzer 4. I'm pushing around, trying to keep myself angled towards him, while also keeping an eye out for any enemy vehicles. Now, let's look back into my view there. So I'm keeping an eye on him. He must have a bunch of crew and systems out, so I just put in the killing blow. It was just the 2 crew members he had left, so he was seriously damaged. And I don't see anyone else. So I start moving into the cap. Get some sweet, sweet cap RP. Now, I think I've said this before, I'm no expert on War Thunder. I certainly haven't played it as much as I've played, say, like World of Tanks. Now I do see this IS-1. But I don't know if he sees me. He obviously must know I'm there because I'm capping the point, but anyway. As I said, I'm no expert, but it's quite obvious to anyone that capping points gives you a lot of RP. We finish off the IS-1. Certainly killing tanks gives you quite a bit of RP, but capping points gives you more, which is good. I really agree with that. It totally encourages actually playing the objective and not just going to get kills. Now, don't get me wrong, there are obviously people who still just do that though. But hey ho. There's Yak 3 tries to come for me. There's not much that he can do against me because he doesn't have that big gun that the other Yak 3 models have. That was just a P model. Now, I get a bit unlucky here. I know that there are enemy tanks up there. I'm shielded by this rock, sorry. So I tried to move up, and I think that I'm being super sneaky and that no one sees me.
And then a wild IS-2 appears and completely shuts me down. As you can see here with the glitchy replay shell, the 122mm shell just completely devastating my crew. As you might expect. At this point the game's pretty secure. I hop into my Panther A. As I said, the Panther A actually, well, because I've got it fully upgraded and it's a bit of a lighter tank, it is actually quite a bit more maneuverable. So I'm able to quite quickly get back into the battle. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here, because driving tanks are interesting, but I don't think that's what people want to see on YouTube. The enemy team are reconsolidating their efforts and they're pushing back out of their spawn. And I see this T-34A5 and I start to angle up. And that's something you have to do with quite a lot of the German vehicles, is angling your turret as well as your hull. I figured I was going to be taking a shot from him. But he actually didn't notice me. So I get a shot in, takes out his cannon breech and loader. Now he stops because he thinks it's coming from in front of him, but it wasn't, and he just sealed his own fate there, and I finish off the rest of his crew. Now I'm conscious that there is obviously an IS-2 up somewhere, but at the moment I don't know that he's left the spawn or not yet. As you can see in the in-game view, he hasn't left the spawn yet. Now I get very lucky there, and I manage, well, it's a combination of good timing with my turn and the time of his shot. I managed to bounce the shot on the side of my turret. And I think that must be absolutely terrifying for the crew that were in there. You imagine the sound that would make off the side of the turret. So anyway, I decided it's a pretty bad idea to try and fight against him there. You don't want to try, well, you want to try and not trade shots 1-for-1 with an IS-2 if you can help it. Ideally, if you're fighting an IS-2, you want him to fluff his shot and then rush him. Because in most tanks, you're always going to have a better reload than him. I think it's a 16-second reload base on an IS-2. So with the 75 on this, it's always going to be better reload. Now you can see I'm hesitating here because I figure that this IS-2 is going to just poke back out and kill me as soon as I push around. I did see that SC-152. But obviously I didn't get any chance to get a shot on him. And I'm still just really hesitating because of this IS-2. Because the IS-2, I mean, it's such a massive shell, it's just pretty much always going to one-shot your tank, unless you have a really big empty tank. So I don't want to get taken out of the game, because, as you remember from the intro, I've been trying quite hard to get a half-decent game in the Panther for this video, so I don't want to die. But if I remember right, I figure at this point, well, I'm not going to have a half-decent game just sitting there either. So I decide, screw it, I'll push around and try take the cap again. Get some more of that sweet, sweet cap RP. But, as you can see again, I'm keeping a close eye on their spawn so that I can stop and shoot at whatever may poke around. I believe that was the IS-2 that just fired there. So I'm feeling a bit more confident in pushing around, because as I said, the IS-2 does have a long reload. You can see we, well, obviously I wasn't paying too much attention to my driving, but I do know, even though I can't see the tank marker there, I do know that he's behind that little rock. So I am keeping a very close eye on that. And then he dies, so instantly pretty much all my worry is gone. So I just push around and get into the cap. And dead T-34A5 there. Keeping a close eye on that road as well, because that's the road from their other spawn. Now, as I said, a lot of people don't tend to spawn there anymore, but people do still spawn there, so worth keeping an eye on. And I move around this rock here just to make sure that nobody can snipe me from the spawn. But before I can finish capping, the game ends. So yeah, that was the Panther in War Thunder. And as a lot of you probably know, the Panther is a good tank. It has its flaws, but I still love it. It just
like I say, it looks amazing. And currently I'm grinding out my Panther 2, which can only be even better. Right now, it is sitting at 7.0. However, it was recently announced that they're dropping that to 6.7, which I totally agree with. Having a World War II tank at 7.0, which is facing the likes of, you know, the Vickers MBT, Centurion Mark 10, Conway, you know, all post-war tanks, or even in the Russians. You know, that's facing T-44 100s. What else is there? That's about it. They don't have much at 7.0. But you'd be facing things like BMPs, IS-3s. Again, all post-war tanks. That's one of the probably the bigger problems with War Thunder, in my opinion. I know it's balanced based on capabilities. Like, technically, this tank could face this tank. But it does feel a little bit kind of shit that a lot of these World War II tanks are facing vehicles that it would never have faced in real life. But that's game balance. I mean, it has to be fun for, well, everyone. It wouldn't be very fun if, you know, you had T-34 76s versus this thing, which is what happened in real life. But then in real life, it was balanced in a sense by the fact that fantastically unreliable because of the transmission and the resource, the lacking resources of the German army and the German war machine in general. So, yeah, it's fair, but it's unfair, I think. But anyway, that's been the Panther. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. As I said at the start of the video, if you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. I would so appreciate that. Like I say, it's I do this for fun, but it is nice when I see those views every morning and any likes and comments. Obviously, I'm a small channel. I get like 1 or 2 comments per video, so I will reply to any comment that you might put up. And I do appreciate any sort of feedback as well, so if there's anything I could improve in my video style, let me know. I do really appreciate that, and I take everything on board. I know that I said that I would try and get some more consistent uploads. Things are ramping up at uni with courseworks and exams and stuff like that, so that's putting me under quite a bit of stress. And with work as well. Obviously, it's the run-up to Christmas now, so that's getting a bit more stressful. So I am trying. But obviously, this particular video took quite a bit more editing than most of my videos, so I've been working on that quite a bit. But anyway, until the next one, as always, have a great day.